Rockdale Planning and Zoning meeting of Tuesday, November 18, 2025. Could I have a roll call, please?
Chair Williams,
Here.
Vice Chair Ratliff, Commissioner Miles,
Here.
Commissioner Flores,
Here.
Commissioner Houston, Commissioner Higdon,
Here.
and Council Liaison Willie.
Here.
We therefore have a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for allowing us to come together in service to the citizens of Rockdale. Lord, this is a special time of year when we remember the things that we're thankful for. We ask that you continue to bless our families, bless the members of the commission today and staff that are here, and please be with us as we deliberate and that our decisions and discussion be pleasing to you in all things. We ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
All right. Do we have any citizens' communications?
No, sir.
Do we have a report on our candidate for commission? Is that still active?
Yeah,
All right.
I haven't gotten any applications.
Okay. Action items. Number 1, review and approve the minutes of the meetings on October 7th and 21st, 2025. Should be the next tab.
No, that was November, the first week. Yeah. I just forgot to put the minutes. Yeah.
I'll entertain motion.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve as read. All those in favor, right hand. All right, motion made, seconded, and carries. Receive the monthly code enforcement report.
Commissioners, nice to see you all together again. This is the report from October. So you're going to notice a couple changes. We'll go over them together, and then I can field any questions, any comments, any recommendations, because this is a working document and it can change however you want to see it change. First, we remain the same. I've given you the breakdown of what we've done in October. So we've issued 2 notices for trash or debris, 1 for high grass, and then we had 10 miscellaneous cases. And most of those had to do with off-premise signage that we're now enforcing with the new sign ordinance. In that breakdown, since it's the new month, at the time of the report, none of those were completed. 1 was issued in court, and then 12 of them remained open. A lot of the sign folks had plans, and a lot of them have completed it today, but I just have not updated this report, and you'll see it in your November report. If you flip over to the second page, this is where we start to get some changes. I've done a year-to-month comparison, so you can kind of see where code enforcement's gone over the past years in October. So if you look at the October 2023, we had 55 notices issued. Then in 2024, we had 17, and in 2025, we had 13. I put it in a bar graph if you prefer bar graphs over numbers. And then I gave you a little further detail because when you see those numbers, you might see 55 and like, wow, that's a lot more than all the other ones. Well, in 2023, high grass season was running longer than expected, and so 45 of those notices were high grass compared to your other years where you had 7 and then 1. So that's your breakdown on those numbers. It just gives you a little more context instead of just getting a number. Again, I've given you a bar graph after that if you prefer to see that in a bar graph format. Then you asked, of all of our open court complaints issued by myself, the code enforcement officer, I've given you the violation and the year that they were placed into court If you want to discuss any of those in detail, we can. I'll keep that within the report if you want to see it, and then as they're removed, you'll just notice that they will be removed from the listing.
Say that again? Has,
The court,
has there,
the court complaints, they'll remain in the report if you want to see them that way. And we can discuss the details at the meeting if you'd like, but they're going to remain in there until they're removed. And I won't put anything in there that they're removed. You'll just notice that it's gone. But I've given you the year that they were placed in court, so that way you can see where that stands. And then I've given you just a brief summary. We did a couple of abatement properties within October. We abated 410 East 5th, 513 College, and 769 Green Street, which was all high grass cases. And then we have billed those property owners, and we'll be moving forward with liens against the property because none of those property owners have paid that bill. With that, I can field any questions that you have of the report or any comments, changes that you'd like to see.
On the failure to register vacant commercial building, I guess it's possible to drag it out 3 years for them to comply, or is just a process that takes longer than some?
Well, in this specific instance, there was a plea deal that was made, and that plea deal was violated, and then it was up to the prosecutor to continue moving forward with that.
Okay.
And so there's been a break in that. I've talked to the council, and I'll let the planning commission know. We're in the process of changing our fee schedule with how we deal with vacant commercial structures, because you're only allowed to charge what it actually costs you to enforce vacant commercial structures. So as in how much it costs you to make the notices, how much it costs you to actually perform those inspections on site. You have to total those numbers, and you can only charge roughly what it takes you to perform those actions. So if you remember, we did it in a way where, the first year you get it for this fee, and then it kind of goes up as you get, the longer you hold on to that building. You can't do that. So we're changing that, and then once that's changed, we will pursue moving forward with getting these commercial structures registered through the court. I think there's about 20 of them that have failed to register. And so you'll see 20 added to your list pretty soon.
that was an ordinance we created?
The fee schedule was not. The ordinance you guys handled, and then the structure of the fees was recommended by your body, and then the council took it and they decided that they liked the idea, they wanted to increase that fee, and so we did.
Right.
We had a few register that way, and how it turned out being, because it's year 3 now, with what it costs us to run these services is about $750. So they've been getting a deal, because the first year is $100 and the second year is $500. So for 2 years, they've gotten a decent deal from the city. And so year 3 would be $1,000, but we can't charge $1,000 because it doesn't cost us $1,000 to do it.
Did we, you can change the fee schedule, we don't have to?
The council's doing it right now. You don't have to see that. But I'm just letting you know that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So you will see a lot come on your list here soon because they are not registered.
So there's Johnson grass growing between the asphalt of a street and a concrete curb. Does that fall under city maintenance?
It would be if it's beyond the curb. If it's within the street and the
It's where
curb,
the curb and the asphalt
then
adjoin,
it would
or-
be, it's not the property owner's responsibility because they're responsible up to the curb, or if there's not a curb, then to the edge of the pavement.
It was a thought that came to me when I was over by the ACOC Center over there and saw it, and I was going, oh, that's actually city, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
222 South Farm 487. I looked it up on Google and it said it's in Minerva.
No,
Is that right?
there's another address associated with it, and I
South
can't.
would be going back this way, right?
Well, it's the old nursing home that's south. The
Where
abandoned
else?
by the Fair Park.
Yeah.
That's the. There's another address that, and that might be why it's not pulling for you because it's the same on my files. I have 2 addresses on the files because it depends where you look it up is what its address is for whatever reason. I just can't think of the second address.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But that's the property, yeah.
Any other questions on the report? Thank you, sir. Now that brings us up to your other report. Here we go. Oops, I flipped the wrong page there. Go ahead with your,
Okay, so this is the Development Services Report for October. In the month of October, we've issued a total of 13 building permits, 1 demolition permit, 4 electrical permits, and 1 HVAC permit, and 4 plumbing permits. I have a pie chart there for you if you prefer to see it in that manner. We've issued 4 new homes in this month that is roughly about $773,000 in estimated improvements. 3 of those were at the Cornerstone subdivision, and 1 was on Skiles, if I can recall correctly. And then outside of that, you had a roughly about $217,000 estimated in other building permit type of projects within your city. And then staff did hold a pre-development meeting with the development that you saw the presentation on last time. And if you haven't watched that link that was sent to you,
Rockdale Ridge proposed.
and we've had a development meeting with them, and that's been our maybe 4th or 5th meeting with them. We meet quite often. With that, I can field any questions you may have about the development services world.
You say you meet quite often. Is that the status quo? Just
That's
making sure everyone's communicating?
That's what a good developer will do.
Okay.
Is things arise that you'll need to ask your city about, and vice versa. And
Okay.
The land swap, is that, I guess, part of the dialogue that y'all are meeting with?
that would be with the school, and so they're working that out between the
Oh,
school.
between the developer and the school?
That's right.
Okay.
And if they end up going that route, then you'll see it on their plating.
You were in the council meeting, weren't you?
Yeah.
Were you here when, I mean,
Nick President?
well, that, but the school representative,
Right.
she kind of seemed like it was a pretty good.
It's a good idea, as long as
He's covering all of his bases.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty thorough.
This developer is really good, really good.
Very professional.
Yes.
No, he was very good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
his sidekick, on the other hand.
Well,
So who's the sidekick and who's the developer? You don't know.
careful with your answer.
All right, we're
Well.
getting away from the development. You may not need to say names in here.
Yeah, so change rails on this.
Ooh, did I cover my trail good on that
I
one?
took it that the older gentleman was,
Any update on
Jim is the guy that I know.
base
Jim,
flood
that guy
elevation?
that-
yeah.
he's
from
the-
FEMA?
he's the-
Well, from FEMA, we've updated our floodplain ordinance,
Okay.
but as
Well,
far
as
as
the 2 feet versus 1 foot.
that's right, we've updated that and we've moved forward because we had to do that for the grant that we're now going towards with the NOAA City match for a code ordinance update for your zoning ordinance. And as far as the base flood elevation, all that ordinance did is it added standards for RV parks and it changed it to 2 foot above the elevation. And it's also put that link in of FEMA that will refer to the base flood elevation map instead of having to rely on the map from 1984. It just gives you another option.
Wait, so was there an update to FEMA's
If they
established
have,
floodplain per year?
well, as far as I think they're just updating on that tool now, is my understanding.
Okay.
There hasn't been a separate study done where the city has gotten one for ourselves.
Okay.
Has there been any update on the Red Stag, the downtown restaurant? I seen that they have a sign up, like I guess future home. Is that I guess they're still just in the process of getting it all together for the
Yeah,
Southern
they're
Building?
starting their work. They
Okay.
pulled some permits, but not all permits yet, and they're moving forward. I think they had a couple engineering items to fix and correct. Not from us. They haven't submitted it to us. They were just getting it ready, and so they pulled their preliminary permits.
The MDD had suggested to them that they put some kind of signage out there to let people, folks know that it's coming.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they are moving.
Okay, cool.
Under development report also, I was on YouTube and I saw an ad for the new coming emergency room that they intended, emergency
Urgent care.
center. And, first 1 or 2 weeks of December is, I can't remember exactly when they said, but that was on the YouTube, so that was, if it's on the internet, it's gotta be true.
Well, and I'll tell you from a city standpoint, they've been issued their certificate of occupancy, which means they can open up at any point because they meet all of your city codes, and so they're ready to go. I think they're probably just hiring out right now and getting their staffing together before they actually open up.
Yeah, I know one of the staff, she's local, so she'll have some following and different things, so.
Any further questions on the Development Services Department report? Action item number 4, conduct a workshop regarding the street analysis project.
Okay, if, just for clarification's sake and for those that may be watching for the first time, we're in the process of grading the streets to make a recommendation to city council in 2026 for your capital improvements plan. So currently we're working on staff's opinion of the worst streets in Rockdale, and then we'll work our way forward through the better streets, and then your great streets, and then we'll have a full listing. Reason we're doing the worst ones first is because that's going to be what comes up first on your recommendations to your list, and we're on a deadline to get that done.
And we have more worse streets than we have ability to handle, so we've got to prioritize.
That's right. With that, I'll let Shanna
And
pull up the
both of those
presentation.
statements are true statements.
That's right. And
Do I get a free front end alignment after driving these streets? Did he? Okay.
I will be careful because I'll call a couple of them and ask them to double charge you.
So we left off at,
We left off at East Hamilton is where we're at. We'll continue to blow and go through this. And then once we've gone through all of it, I'll have a spreadsheet for you guys to look at your ratings. I'll put them in order for you just to make sure that you agree with your ratings. And then we'll put them in the order because I imagine you're going to have a lot of them that are probably rated close or similar enough that you'll have to prioritize from there. Because we, as Tim said, we can only do so many at a time. So there's going to be further prioritization needed.
Working on it.
Do you have the clicker?
This is the right one. Is it this one?
Scroll through it, I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Where are we?
We're on East Hamilton.
Oh, write down the slide number.
Okay, so we're on East Hamilton and we'll work our way down. This is alphabetically by, again, failing streets in the staff's opinion. So if you don't know where East Hamilton is located, it's located pretty much right in between Smith Road and, what's that street called? 487 Ackerman, yes, thank you. It runs east to west. Now, there's 3 blocks within this. I've personally rated one of the blocks as poor, and then the other 2 as failure.
far east end of it is gravel, it's not even paved, right? It's where it meets Smith.
I believe
that-
it's paved.
I think it's paved.
I think it's paved.
Yeah.
Off of memory, I think it's paved all the way through. I have it down as asphalt, and I don't think I have any notes that it wasn't. For your 200 block, this was the poor block. We just had a longitudinal cracking in there, and then edge feathering / failure. And then we also just put a remark that your pavement at the intersection is in poor condition as well. On this one, again, we're going through the pricing options. If you're just going to mill it with a 2-inch overlay, you're looking at a little under $16,000. If you do a base repair with the mill and overlay, then it's a little over $24,000 for just this 100 block. For memory purposes, I'll put these numbers together to you at the end for the whole street, so you don't have to memorize that. This is the picture of the 200 block that was taken right at the end of 2024. For your 300 block, we had the concrete valley gutter on the east side of San Gabriel is in failing state. You have a lot of alligator cracking out there with edge feathering, and you have some poor patchwork out there. And then also the intersection with green is in poor condition, including the concrete gutter. If you do the overlay, a little over $19,000. If you add a base repair on top of that, a little under $30,000. And then that's a picture for you that was taken at the same time in 2024. And then the 400 block, similar comments. You had longitudinal alligator cracking with edge feathering. You had a lot of surface loss in this area. You had grass growing several feet within the right of way. The intersection with Smith's in poor shape, and then the intersection with San Gabriel's in failing condition.
Yeah, that's,
And that's what you're referring to.
yes, sir.
If you just mill it, a little under 17,000. If you add the base repair, a little more than 25,000. And that's a picture for reference of what's going on out there.
Traffic impact,
The traffic impact in this area is very minimal. There's definitely not more than 10 houses that front that road, with one being built at the moment. I still don't think that puts it even at 10. So you're talking about less than 100 traffic count today on that street. If you wanted to repair the whole street with just milling it, you're looking at a little over 51,000. And if you want to add a base repair and do all of it at the same time, it's a little over 78,000. So with that being said, I believe you have in your packet the scoring sheet for reference. I'll fill it out up here for you guys. But as far as the condition of the street overall, it's adding all of your blocks together for memory purposes and determining a rating. So my opinion, you had 1 poor block and 2 failures. Would you, Plan Commission, agree with that?
well, kind of using the game plan we came up at the last workshop, the first 4 or 5's in my opinion on almost all these streets anyway, but it's certainly on this street, you're probably 5 on the first 4.
Okay.
Traffic impact is where you can start inserting.
Okay. So on the traffic impact, in my opinion, it's minimal out there because, again, you can count about 10 vehicular trips a day per single family household, and I don't think you have more than 10 houses on the street, so you're talking about less than 100 vehicle traffics a day along that roadway, so that would be pretty minimal.
I agree.
Then your number of blocks would be a 2 because you have 3 blocks within there. And then your environment, you only have single family out here, which would fall under minimal development.
What is your difference in life of the 2 different repair options?
It really
Well-
doesn't, I mean, it depends on what's needed. It's not,
Okay.
you're only gonna do your base repair and mill overlay if there's base failure.
Okay.
And the base failure, you can't always necessarily see. Sometimes there's evidence from what's happening on the surface, whether or not you suspect that that's the case.
So it's not it's you
It's
have
not
to
like
do
we'll
this.
do this, or we can do this, we'll do this, and if it's needed, we'll do that.
Okay.
Right, yeah, because you could have the instance where you may think there's not base failure and you just overlay it and then you have problems really fast because you had base failure. Or it could be the opposite. You didn't have base failure after all and you could have really just went in with the mill and overlay and you would have been fine.
What is the life then of doing this?
Depends the type of pavement you use. Asphalt, I think, is 20 years
Okay.
along those lines, and isn't concrete like 30 or 40?
So we're not dealing with something that's 3 or 4 years then.
No.
Okay.
The only time if that happened, that meant that you had some really bad base failure, and
Okay.
you did a very quick overlay of it to try to fix it.
And
Okay.
there's another project called Chip and Seal
Mhm.
that has anywhere from 5 to 10 years probably.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Okay, so on to your personal scoring section. The importance of the repair, in your opinion, if remember we have all of these streets to do. It's not a high traffic road. Is it something that the planning commission sees being done in more than 10 years, or should be there higher priority in your opinion to score it?
I'm at 1.5. I hate to say everything here can last another 10 years is my only problem with the solid 1, but
Yeah.
I'm at 1,
Okay. So your cost to the relevance ratio of it. So again, those are your numbers if you're going to do all of the blocks together. And for the purpose of the question, we're totaling all the blocks together.
Typically, you would do it all because from a cost standpoint, there's mobilization set up when they do a block here and a block here, if you're gonna do one of those, you're probably gonna do them all 3 of those.
I mean, it would be great to me if it rolled in with the Smith Road
Right, and
repair,
that's,
you know, but
that's something that your staff and your city manager would handle when you present this list. It's, you would come up with a game plan to try to tackle things that you can combine together for cost saving elements.
give me a number, Charlie.
I'll sit the same.
Yep, one.
Okay, and then your personal priority of it.
Can wait.
Two. Yeah.
I think based on the location, depending on how things develop over the years, it could become a more important street because of the Smith to Ackerman crossover, but as of right now.
And you know, I'll tell you to add context to that. If you can remember, the housing authority came forward and presented that idea of those units. That's no longer moving forward. So there's not a lot of development out here in this area at this time.
So that's a solid 2 or below for me then.
Yeah, there's not going to be high traffic along that area like that plan suggested. Okay, well, we're on to Eaglen, which is a very, very small road here.
The building on the left of that is Bandas.
Yep.
Goes down to Calhoun. The half between San Jacinto and Calhoun was asphalt. The other going over to Bandas is gravel.
Yes. A lot of people don't know that this is a road, and it indeed is.
I mean, it looks like a commercial easement, to be honest.
Yeah, it almost acts, and that was kind of my comment. It's a dirt road. You wouldn't necessarily know. There's a lot of potholes in it. There's only one block of it. It's not a very long road.
The asphalted part was really nice until the 18-wheelers tore it up.
Right.
But yeah,
If you're gonna just mill it, you're talking about a little bit under 29,000, very close, and then a base repair on top of that would be a little over 44,000 for that block length. This is your picture that Chair Williams is referring to, that you did have some asphalt elements within the dirt road, but it's so deteriorated at that point. I mean,
Why is that so much more than last one? Is it longer or is it?
it's longer. So the road, this is only one picture of the 100 block, but it continues. It terminates over here because this is your hemp store now, and then Bandits would be right here on the right hand side. So it's
Ford House
a
is over on the far left of your picture. That's the Ford House.
yes.
It's one block.
It's almost the length of a couple blocks, but it's only one 100 block. That's
Yeah.
why your pricing's higher on this, because it all goes on your square footage of the road itself. So that's why the price came in higher. So if we go over the questions, Commissioner Williams, if we're all
First
okay.
4 or 5s in my opinion.
Okay. And then the traffic impact.
Well, I'm a little biased here
Well-
because it's 2 blocks from my
You got
house.
the restaurant right there, you got the store right there, and, you know, get people off the highway with all the traffic that's going on the highway, they would take that road versus getting on the highway so early. You know, if they pull over there and go into the store or, you know, and it's right off the highway, it's visible.
It's busier than some of the other streets I drove on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come out of that neighborhood, be on that road too, you know, going to the store and they can go straight to Bandits if, you know, it was available.
Okay. So do you want to go, so we won't go minimal on it. Do you want to go all the way up to moderate? Do you think it's a little more than moderate?
I'm in that 2.5, but if you sell me 2 or 3, I'm good with it. Somebody tell me something else. You suggested moderate?
Well, I can get behind moderate. Anywhere between moderate and minor. I would say large and significant is going to be more your highway
No,
roads.
I can't
This,
go
this
there.
isn't going to see that much, but there is a point. It does get you to a couple businesses, and it also gets you off the highway, which has validity to that.
Yeah, I'd say moderate.
All right.
I know that.
There's only one block within it, so it's just going to be a 1 on that question. And then your environment, you have some commercial that backs to it, or it connects you to commercial, which is about 3 commercial properties.
I guess my question regarding that is there a little property between the street and like the convenience store? Or does the convenience store actually go all the way to the street, the
I
island?
believe the convenience store, it might be a couple lots out there, but I believe it's under all the same ownership. And then
Well,
you have,
because they were parking 18-wheelers in there
Right.
for a couple of years, and I didn't know if somebody had a little strip through there that, you know what
I
I'm saying?
can't tell you for certain, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. But, you know, you have 3 commercial properties. It's not, it's up to you if you want to say minimal development or light. I wouldn't go anything above light because
Yeah, I
The
got it.
3
I'm
commercial
voting
businesses.
light. We can stop right there.
Okay.
I'm voting light. I don't know.
now we're going to get into your personal scoring section. The importance of the repair, according to the planning commission, what do you think on that as far as the year wise?
Two or three?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold back on that. That's why I didn't want to lead the charge on that, but I can go with that, Charlie. 2 to 3.
Yep, 2.5.
Okay, we can do a 2.5 on that. Your cost to relevance ratio, again, it sounds bad because it's a really long 100 block, but it's your opinion as the commission if doing that is worth that price.
It's gonna take some base repair where the trucks potholed it out beside it there and stuff, so I would expect it to be higher than some of the streets that are feathering from the edges in kind of scenario, you know, but. Dustin, speak up.
Would that be 2 or?
Yeah. I'd say moderate. It's
Moderate.
being that it goes 3 commercial and
Okay, and then your personal priority on it.
I have to abstain.
it's at the middle of the list.
No, 3.
All right. We'll get on to Ellis, which is going to be another one that you probably never heard of before. If you looked at that on the ground, you did not know that that's a road. And if you did, then you probably work for the city. That's where Ellis is at. It's right next to College Street. If you look at it, you'll see in a picture, it looks like it's just somebody's driveway. There's no houses that front it. It's just a gravel road, and it's a very small. You can see it's a little over 1,000 square foot long. The comments, it's just more of a path than a road, really. It's just gravel, so that's why it's failure, because it's just not a paved road. If you were to repair it, you get a pretty good deal out of it because it's so short that if you're gonna just mill it, then you have a little over $3,000. If you're gonna add a base repair in that, then it's a little over $4,500.
Go back to your map and it's right behind the stadium, right? In that area?
No, because
No, it's-
your elementary school is on.
Yeah, it comes,
This is your elementary school right here.
So what's that right there?
This is your elementary school, and so if you're picking up your little kiddos, you used to pick them up this way, and I think they may still do this. And
Yeah, you pass that road. to
yeah,
get there.
so if you wanted to go up, you
in
can.
fact,
you
there's
would
not
see.
even a street sign on that one. I think I had that in my notes, but,
It's like an alley up there.
Mhm,
between
it
two
does, I
houses.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a picture for you guys if you want to see it. That's Ellis
yeah.
right there, so you would probably never know it.
How wide,
Good.
if we redid that, how wide did you say we were gonna redo it?
Yeah, because that doesn't even look like a 2-lane road. Yeah.
The width of the pavement currently is 12, and that's where I just kept whatever your width was. I just ran those numbers that way, so you would have pretty much a 1-lane road.
You wouldn't make it, if you redid it, you wouldn't.
Well, there's not really a way to widen this right of way without having encroachments of.
Yeah, that one carport.
You have 2 encroachments, so the best you
Okay.
could probably do is add 5, so you'd get to 22, and you're still looking at
Basically a 1
a
lane.
very tight 2-lane if you could, but then it'd just be complete. If you did a 2-lane, it'd be complete pavement pretty much. You wouldn't have any.
What was your traffic count on that?
You wouldn't have. what?
Your traffic count is probably 10, maybe 20 if both houses use it, but most likely, reality, probably not even 10,
Yeah.
because the way these people are getting their mail is not all the way back here. It's going to be at the front of their house, I assume.
Yeah.
So probably 0, really.
So which street is this right here? That's Belton then?
This is College.
College, okay.
College
College
is
size Coulter.
Okay.
How often is culture used
Coulter doesn't even look like a road.
Coulter has
Does it look like an
a
alley
good
too?
bit of homes on it. No,
No?
And it can score low, even though it's gravel road, it's not in great condition. Based on the priority level and the volume of traffic, it can still score low and not be done for a while until,
Yeah.
that's money.
in a road like this as well, to add on what Tim's saying, this may be one of those you just abandon in the future because it's not serving a purpose for the city and it's not serving a purpose for the resident. It's just a right of way that was probably dedicated on a plat that's just never been developed.
I wouldn't want to do it on its own, on its sole value. You know, if you were doing something close or doing something connecting. Maybe.
Right. That would be the only value in it if you were able to claim more right of way and maybe connect it to another road. Then you would do it. But the way it's out there right now, you would be serving.
The only issue is that road that comes into it doesn't have a cul-de-sac or anything, a turnaround.
Well, if we'll go back to the map. So the way this is set up, this is college. College goes into Murray, that's up to your north, and College also comes down into Bell. So College takes you to either way to a collector road. This road this doesn't really exist. Coulter doesn't. It pops up on Google Maps, but it's not. When we get to Coulter, we did not add this into Coulter Street. Just so you know.
I don't know how those houses got fronted onto that street. This must go way back.
Well, there's no houses fronted on this. These
they're
houses
carports, never mind.
front College. They put in a little carport because they probably take their cars back here and park it. But unless you claim more right of way through here to get to North Wilcox, which isn't necessarily needed because again, you have Belton here and you have Murray there that are both collectors. There's not necessarily a reason.
Does
to
that
attach
qualify as a dead end?
This would be, yes.
Alice's?
Ellis would be a dead end.
Because you can't use Coulter.
Right, because this
Right.
looks like Coulter exists, but it really doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I'm
it's not
thinking-
there. So
Okay.
it is a dead end.
Okay.
And in good practice, you would always put a turnaround in on a dead end, but on this street, it's not serving anybody. So there's not necessarily a reason to do that.
So can you continue on to Coulter or no?
No, this isn't. This is
Undeveloped.
right. This is just grass out here.
It's
is grass.
in map only.
Right. Google Maps shows you that it exists, but in reality, it doesn't really.
Is it platted right away?
This area is platted. I don't know if that Coulter right-of-way is platted. Google Maps has a tendency to add right-of-way sometimes where right-of-way really doesn't exist. And I think this is one of those cases. I could be wrong, but I've seen it in other areas of town, and I think this is just another one of those. Anyways, going on with the grading, this road doesn't service really anything. But it's in there because it's a road.
It shows Coulter Street on Murray, but you're talking about down here.
Right. So what the map's saying is this is Coulter as well.
Yeah, it kinda
But
shows
it's
Coulter
just
going
it's
all the way
almost like
through,
a
too.
utility kind of alley is
Alleyway,
what you
yeah.
would think it is instead of a road, is what it is.
You got 4 5s. We can move,
4 or 5.
expedite. You got.
And then your traffic count is just going to be minimal. You only have one block, and then your environment you have nothing fronting the road, but there's 2 single-family houses right next to it, so you can go minimal development on that.
So technicality there, we could almost give that road to the landowners. I mean,
You could, yes, you could abandon it if you chose to, and then you would, let's say the right of way is 20 feet out there, then you would divide that in half to the landowners on each side and give it to them.
let them figure out who keeps up the roadway or something.
I'm sorry.
We need to put a footnote in there that we are talking or suggesting.
I can make a little note that you suggest on abandoning that right of way, and then if the council is willing to actually abandon that
Yeah.
right of way.
Yeah. And didn't we have that note on another one that we did?
Yes.
A couple weeks back?
Yes, I
Yes.
believe so.
On the east side.
So it would just turn into a grassy.
It would just turn into the side yard.
Unless they wanted to maintain it as a driveway
Right.
for any purpose.
Question. I remember going to the council meeting and they were talking about not abandoning roads and saving them properties for possible trash can routes to go back there and pick up the trash, making one of them areas.
Alleyways or streets?
Well, and so
Alleyways.
that would make sense with Coulter. I don't know about this one just because there's only 2 houses there.
Well, if you open it up and even if it's one lane big enough for a trash truck, they could go back there if people put their trash out on that road.
Mm.
You know, so I don't know how that works for the neighborhood or if they, I mean, we can go that far, but I don't know if the council will move forward.
Right.
We're gonna kick the can to council, let them
Yeah,
decide that.
that's what I was gonna say. You know, it's just a recommendation. You know, and if their sentiment seems to be that they don't want to do right of way abandonments at this time, which is perfectly fine. But staff suggestion would be to absolutely abandon this one. There's no purpose to it. Even with the trash trucks, that would be. I'd have to look at how the houses are positioned, but I think there's
Personally,
already
I
an
can't
alley.
see spending $40,000
Well, yeah, and yeah.
ever.
On
Yes.
nothing. Something that's not going to get
So,
used.
but again, it's a council determination on that. But yeah, you're right. There was 2 alley requests, and they were not willing, and they didn't want to see more of them. So again, going on your pricing, it's low. But as Tim said, you know, just because it's low, there still may be no value in it, if that's your opinion, because it's not servicing anything.
I mean, you have 3 or 4 that are low, all of a sudden it turns into something else you could do with that money.
Right. So we're now on your personal scoring section here of your importance of the repair.
1, 1,
Ones across the board.
Yes, for me. That's
Alright.
3 yeses, Charlie? No, don't feel pressurized. If you think it's more, say it.
Well, I think overpriced was a good one. You know, it's not overpriced. But yeah, that's fine though.
For the impact.
Well,
on the
if
citizens.
there was a project adjoining it, I could probably be talked into, you know, adding it onto a project there, but just picking that street out and
Well,
Just thinking about the school too, when they come in to pick up and drop off kids, you know, if a trash truck can go through there instead of blocking the whole road like they do often around here. So that's just, but that's fine. Move forward.
we're on to Erie. Erie.
that's
Which
pretty
is
eerie that we're on Erie.
Another one that you may have not heard of before. So you're going to learn about it today. It's right at the dead end of Haley. It's Macaulay Oaks is right just south of this when it turns into their private drive.
That's
in this
their
area.
parking lot.
That's right.
Private drive.
But Erie Avenue goes up to that point.
This one I had a concern on because it doesn't announce that it's a dead end and or any of that kind of stuff. You're just driving along, and if you don't stop, you're in the football field. That one.
Yes, this is another one. That's one of the comments on here that it terminates with no turnaround on it. It's only 1 block long. We had it as failure. You had longitudinal, transverse, and alligator cracking within it with surface loss, edge feathering, potholes. You kind of had the whole shebang with this one. And then you had no turnaround. The pricing, if you were willing to fix that with just an overlay, it's a little more than 16, and if you're gonna add a base repair on top of that, it's a little more than 25. And
Have
then
we
this-
ever had any complaints from Macaulay Oaks at that road street? Okay.
If it has, it hasn't been directed to me. I
Okay.
haven't gotten a complaint. This is the road, and as you can see, it kind of it does something odd here where you have curbing, and then the curbing disappears, and you get a lot of grassy area, and your right-of-way pavement shrinks for whatever reason. But that's what's out there on site. You can see the different type of crackings all just within that one little section there.
Do you think that the use of it comes from the residents and the?
Most likely it does.
Yeah.
For the residents that don't want to turn on the highway, they probably turn the other way and come out.
The situation you have there is you got to drive between trees on the
Yeah.
Macaulay Oaks portion, and some people would rather just go up there and
Right.
So the question I was getting to is there a possible way that we could approach the owners of that or whoever oversees that to go halfway if we need to do any repair to it? Since really, I guess you can say it's a free throwaway for them. I mean, I wouldn't think, well, unless some of the residents that live back there on Haley use that to get to the highway as well, instead of going all the way back out.
If it was a new development, probably so, but.
Exactly the point. That's what I was gonna say. A new development, you absolutely could, because there'd be a traffic impact study that's done, and they'd tell you, okay, this is how many trips we have. Like, okay, well, with this many trips, we got to add another lane, or we got to, and they'll pay they call it their fair share or their
Yeah.
proportionality of it. But with an
Did the
existing
school have a
development,
house back
you
there
can
that they
ask,
tore down?
but if they
Was
say
it
no,
actually
there's,
on Erie Street, or was
they
it
have right to that right of way.
Yeah.
And it's our right of way, and we'd have to repair it. So with this one, I'm assuming that this first four is the same again until we get to traffic impact, or is there,
Yeah, started.
okay. And then you're on to your traffic impact. You have some more traffic out here, because as you point out, Macaulay Oaks, some of the residents take up and go this way. That's really where you're gonna see most of your traffic impact. Not most people are not gonna come from Haley and turn into Macaulay Oaks and get on the highway that way, but I'm sure it happens some. So you have a little bit of traffic both ways.
Not driving too fast through that area. No, everybody's rolling slow in that area.
I hope so. I sure hope so.
Right?
Okay,
Can we
then.
add a category, ability to slow traffic?
I think that tree slows it enough.
That tree almost got me when I was young. It did.
Reaches out and yeah.
Okay, so anyway, on your traffic impact, what are you feeling on this one? Because you have a good bit of a unit. I don't know how many units Macaulay Oaks has off the top of my head to tell you what that traffic count would be, but they have a good bit of units out there. And then you also have some single family on the other side on Haley that would take that route.
It's a 1.5 for me. Either way you go, I'm fine, but
I'd say 2 for traffic impact.
Got 1.5 and a 2. I need a tiebreaker.
I'm fine with 2.
Okay,
Charlie,
we'll go with the 2. And then the number of blocks, you only have one 100 block. The environment around there, you have some multifamily and you have some single family. So do y'all want to go with light density instead of minimal? And then the importance of the repair to the commission?
we've got no complaints and
Yeah.
so, yeah.
All right. And then your cost is above of what you think that would be worth, in your opinion, if it's overpriced or if it's just such a great price you can't pass it up.
Bang for the buck, it's a little, you know what I'm saying? The price is kind of high, but
I
yeah.
don't know, with the number of people over there, I think it's actually relatively divided out. It's pretty decent, but
So what are you suggesting?
I'd go moderate.
So we got a high and we got a moderate. Which one you want to go in between that, or do we want to tie break it and say which one?
I think it's 2.
We'll go with a high. And then your personal priority of it. Got a couple 2s. We okay with 2s? All right. On to Ford. If you don't know where Ford is out close to 77. It's that small highlight at the very top. And the reason I did it like that is because I figure you probably never been down Ford unless you got family down there. This is the
Yeah, I had trouble
senior
with that
apartments.
one.
What are they called? Hunter's
Yeah,
Chase.
Hunter.
Thank you.
I had trouble with that one. It kept trying to Google me back or GPS me to the Ford house, and it took and
Well,
and that's when I found out Los Robles doesn't have any street signs. When I came out trying to find this street,
Los Robles is very odd how they did that, and I won't get off tangent too much, but the unit numbers out there are oddly numbered, and it's all one road, even though you can see there's several roads within it. And it's bizarre. But anyways, Ford is right here. Again, if you don't work for the city, you probably didn't know that was in the city limits, but it is.
Don't they use? They're not on city water, are they?
They're not, and that's a discussion that needs to be had because there's not. They're in the city, but they're not offered any city services outside of trash
Wow.
We need to footnote that somewhere.
and police. They do get police. They also get fire.
And building code.
Right. They follow your code of ordinances. They just don't. They get their own water. I think.
They don't get water and sewer.
But I think they're all on septic out here.
Yeah.
Is that something you would change or try to?
Is that something they've showed interest in, or anybody's?
Well,
brought up?
that would be.
They get all city services except water and sewer.
Yeah.
Well, and that'd be something too. You know, if they were ever interested, it'd take some development to get because there's a significant. Because our water stops right at Hunter's Chase and it loops, I believe.
It's gonna cost a lot of money.
So there's gonna be a
it's not
significant
anymore.
extension. It would take some development to get it out there, but they've never made any complaints about it. You know, and there's other cities that are just like that they don't get water, they don't get sewer, but they're in the city limits.
And on that street, it's all mobile homes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They are.
It's zoned for mobile homes. I'm just trying to think if they're all out
Okay.
there. Yes, they're all manufactured houses out there.
So when you say the water stops there at Hunter's Chase, so like the hotels and the
Well,
Scott's, all that out there on 77 and.
they have water here. I
Okay,
believe.
so they're tied in up there from.
Yeah, because I know Sherwood, they have a meter right around this area,
Yeah.
and the way they do it, I don't know what the right terminology is in the water department, but
We have a
They-
lift station almost right across from.
yeah. So they get all of their water from the highway side. It's just because these guys are so far from that highway and they're so far from Hunter's Chase, and there's not water up on this highway to pull from because the water's down south.
I bet there's only about 6 homes on that, maybe.
You're right around there. I think it's like six. Yeah. Yeah, it's something along those lines. Yeah. So, anyways, it's a small road out there. Serves about 5 to 7, and we had it as a failing road because you had some alligator cracking present, some pothole, surface loss, edge feathering, and then it terminates with no turnaround. We also put it just for memory purposes. If you ever see alligator cracking, that's the best indicator we have that there's probably base failure. The training that I took, the guy said it's always base failure. I've heard others say that sometimes it's not, even though it's alligator cracking. But just to be on the safer side, I've put them all as failure because I'm assuming it's going to be base failure if you're seeing that.
4 5, 1, 2.
That's your pricing for Ford with a 2-inch overlay, a little over 15. If you want to add a base repair in there, which we think there's a base repair needed, then you're going to be a little over 23 to get those guys paved. And then that's a picture for context if you'd like to see what Ford looks like. That's what it looked like on January 15th of this year.
It's going off Belton, right?
Yes. It goes off Belton a long way, and then it's on your right-hand side. Closer to 77, really. With that pricing, I had from Commissioner Miles that you want to go at 4 5s again. Are we all agreeing with that? And then we'll get on to the traffic impact.
Yep, I agree with 2 minor impact.
So your traffic out there, if there's 7 vacancies, then you have the potential of 70 trips, is what they'll tell you. Do we think that's minimal? Do we think it's minor?
1.
Then you only had 100 blocks, so that'll just be a 1. And then you only have single family out here, so we want to go with a 2. Then the importance of the repair.
Do they fall under city trash pickup?
They have their trash with us. That's the one service that we have for them right now. And so that they have trash, and then they do their own septic, and then they're on Southwest Milam water.
Okay.
Because I don't think there's any wells out there. I think they're all Southwest Milam. So your importance of repair, in your opinion? 1. Your cost ratio compared to the prices above, what do you think?
2.
3 is where I was at. 2.5.
2.5. All right. And then your personal priority of it?
2.
All right, got some twos. Okay, now we're on to Harrison. You don't know where Harrison is? It's pretty close to the Fair Park, right in between Walnut and Pine. The Fair Park is that big green block that you see on your map there. This road is 100 block long. In my opinion as staff, probably one of the worst 100 blocks you have in your city limits. If there was a rating past failure, I probably would have put it there. This is your list of why. It had a significant longitudinal cracking, a lot of edge feathering, failed patchwork out there. You have complete service loss out of there, and in some locations it's so bad it's just gravel at this point. Both your intersections of the Walnut and Pine are in failing condition, and then you have grass growing in the right of way. If you want to fix it, it's a little bit longer of a 100 block. If you're just going to mill it, which is absolutely not my recommendation, it's a little under 27. And if you're going to add a base repair, which would be my recommendation, you're looking at a little over 41. That's the road. That picture does it a lot of justice. A lot of justice.
Yeah, it's really narrow because of the edge wear and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
and it's one of those, I wish I would have took a picture for you guys at the other 100 block, because this is the 100 block that's close to the Fair Park, and it's in a lot better condition than if you were turning off of Pine.
Correct.
Is it because the water drains down there towards the end?
I think so. I think that has something to do with it, and I also think that Pine sees a lot of through traffic for whatever reason in that area, and so you have a lot more people when they're going home to Harrison. It seems is going to be coming through Pine and turning right instead of coming all the way down to Walnut and turning left. So you see a lot more vehicular traffic going that way.
And during
Would be
fair,
another thing.
even more.
That's right, and then during fair. But the drainage also has a part to do it with it, because when you have this type of pavement out there and it starts to wear down, you start to get the gravel, and then it washes away, which has happened on this road a lot.
Cause that whole area down there towards the highway is like a bottom almost.
Yeah, well, and
Well,
Pine,
there's a creek down there.
when we get into Pine, it's a real bad. Yeah, if we go to the map, I'll show you. This is where the patio is, Big Pop's
Yeah,
patio.
yeah, Big Papa's.
And within that,
Skip.
there's a drainage channel that runs right here.
Yeah.
And so your drainage in this area most likely flows all the way down in there, if I had to guess. Not an engineer to tell you that, but if you had made me place a bet on it, that's probably what I'd tell you.
That's butting up to Big Papa's.
Pine Street does. Harrison butts up to Pine, and then Big Papa's is in between Pine and 487 within that little nook right there.
If you blow stopping for Pine, you can join the party, Charlie.
So anyways, the picture does it a lot of justice, but I recommend you go out there and drive that Pine side, because it's, I don't want to overstate it, but I just thought I'd make the point, because when we do code enforcement, it's a roller coaster ride when we go down that.
Oh yeah, I agree with that term. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do we want to do 4 or 5s at the start of this one again?
Yes, sir.
And then we'll get into the traffic impact. I think there's around 8 homes out here. Am I right?
Is what I have.
Code enforcement. You start to remember things.
I'd put it on a large traffic impact, or I mean, it's
Well,
one of
and
those
that's-
things that it fluctuates. But
That's the
because of
conversation to
fair
be
pack-
had. Exactly,
Fair
because
parts
you
of
have daily traffic would be low because you're only going to have about 80 trips. But with fair traffic, because this is in that area, one time, and then maybe even with Jubilee days, you're going to have significant traffic. And then if the fair were ever to start holding more events, or people start holding events at the fair, such as like the Sunkissed Music Festival, if that ever blows up and they start getting a lot of traffic, you're in an area that could get
Well, then Boogie's also
a lot of traffic.
started doing some
Exactly.
events and stuff.
Big Papas could start turning out a lot, and they need to park, and they'll start parking within this area. I mean, you have the potential, because you have commercial/event venues around the area, that it could be higher than a low. So this would be one of those
I'm
remarks
in the
that
middle on
could be open.
just because of the occasional use, it bumps it.
Do you
for
want to
me,
go
but-
instead of minor, do moderate?
Moderate. Yeah, moderate would be fine.
You only have 100 block in there, and then your environment around there, you have Fair Park, you have 8 single-family houses, and then you have 1 commercial development that's on Pine, but that could.
What was the
Spill
cost
over
again?
to-
Roll it back.
The cost for repair would be right over 41.
It was. There's going to be a lot of base have to, that thing's so roller coaster, there's got to be something going on there.
That's what I
It would
I
definitely be
believe.
the 41.
Yeah. But your environment that surrounds it, do you want to go light, or do you want to do medium? I mean, because you only have 8 single-family houses, and you really only have 2 commercial businesses there that would affect Harrison. So
I know, there's an
it's just
anomaly to
it's
this.
just the anomaly of fair is such an overwhelming parking that it makes the discussion a little bit more interesting.
So do you put up curbs when we do this or no?
Well, you don't have to. If there's existing curbs, you definitely replace those if needed. Sometimes the curbing's not too bad, but it would depend what your drainage is out there.
Show me the picture again.
We don't have curbs.
Did we have enough edge width for,
Right now, what I have on your right of way is your width of the pavement is 15 foot, which is not sufficient.
right?
But there's not really room to take any more.
And you wouldn't necessarily, in regard to adding curb, you wouldn't just put in curb. You have to design, because curbing is really intended to channel water.
Yeah.
So the road has to be sloped properly and it has to have an outfall. So you're typically, if you have a curb, you're gonna be taking that to an inlet into an underground drainage system or to a creek, basically.
Yeah.
Understand that, but my reasoning was potential parkings, you know.
You probably wouldn't use curbs if you're gonna have all that.
Well, you know, how far do you let them get into the grassy area of somebody's house? There's some things I was trying to resolve on
Well,
this.
and to go back on curbing, just for the overall discussion, there's 2 examples I'm going to give you of why you don't always put curbing in. The first is going to be on North Avenue. They
It's
installed
half curved.
there's curbing installed on the north side, and since there was no engineering work done when that curbing was put in,
Uh-oh.
it floods that road out, and so it washes the road.
So it just catches it.
Because the water, it just catches the water and holds it there instead of it letting it go to where it normally would have went, which was in the railroad's right of way. The second example is if you take that water and you send it somewhere that it's not supposed to go. If you go to 7th Street, Mr. Brooks' property has a very nice concrete channel now, but at a point in time, there was a huge erosion problem going on because all of the water from 7th was channeled and going through his property. So
We'll get to
that's-
North Street in a little while, but if you paved that and had curbs on it, you'd have to do something at Wilcox to get it off into that creek, cause it would pool
Well,
at that
and usually
underpass.
the way your roads are designed is you have the crown of the road, and then the curb is at the same height as the crown of the road. So that way it goes to the curb, and then the curb will send it to an outlet somewhere. Is how it's supposed to be
Do
designed.
that
But
need to drain it to that ditch?
Would need to be engineered.
yeah,
Can
Okay.
you go back to the map?
'Cause it's
That's
going
right
to the
down that
back of the
curve.
patio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Water
So
draining that way.
the short answer to the curbing is it's not as easy as just to install curbs. You really got to do your due diligence to make sure that it's going with how the either how the drainage is designed to go, or you're redesigning your drainage work to make it work.
so where we at?
That would be a lot more than.
It would be more than the cost I'm giving you because this does
Yeah,
not
yeah.
include any
Yeah, yeah.
engineering work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put curbing on that.
Not right now.
We're on the environment because we're discussing there's 2 commercial properties that are around Harrison, and then there's 8 single-family houses, I think.
It'd be light or minimal? I mean, light or medium?
I'm right dead between those
Yeah,
two
3.5.
because the anomaly of,
Yeah.
So we want to go to 3.5. Okay, your importance of the repair,
it takes it kinda in the middle again too.
5 to 7,
3.
and then your cost ratio on this.
Were you thinking 3 or you 3-4? Use 3. That was good, Doug.
I can roll with 3. Yeah, 3 for me, I don't know. Go ahead, Nathan does.
3's good.
And then your personal priority.
2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 3, either way, 2.5 I can roll with.
2.5
Three.
is good. 3.
All right. We got time. Yeah, we got time for a couple more. Next one is Haley Avenue. You just saw it next to Erie. This is a east to west road. The football field, well, really that's the baseball field you see in green right to the north of it, but you see the football field a little bit more to your east if you're looking out on Haley. 2 100 blocks on this one. I had them both as failing, and both the comments were pretty identical on both. They have longitudinal, transverse, and alligator cracking. They have potholes out there, surface loss, and edge feathering occurring. If you were just to do this 100 block alone, which is not going to be our recommendation, it's a little under 20 grand if you just want to overlay it. If you want to add a base repair into that, it's a little under 30 grand. That's a picture of the 900 block taken right at the end of December of 24. And then your 1000 block, I'm not going to go through the comments again, same thing. And then if you want to do just an overlay to it, a little over 24, a base repair included, a little under 38. And then that's a picture of your 1000 block. A little bit worse condition in your roadway in that picture, but it's pretty similar across the board for that whole road itself.
Now,
The one connecting to Erie?
This is the one that connects into Erie. So where I took this picture at, Erie's right to my right-hand side.
so which is block 1? The block connecting Erie or the one connected Mary? Isn't it Mary Street at the other end of Haley?
You have, so
Yeah, Mary
the
Street.
900 block is closer to Mary and the 1000 block is closer to Erie.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
Okay. To get into your total pricing, if you're just going to mill and overlay it, a little over 44. If you're going to add a base repair into it, which is what we think, then a little over 67. It's a longer road out there.
It's in bad shape, so.
With that, do we want to do the 4.5s again and then move forward onto the traffic impact?
Yes, sir.
Similar to Erie,
Traffic impact is kind of funny for me on that.
cause you'd do that one with Erie if you were to do?
You would.
Yeah.
Like Tim said, you would combine these streets if they're going to be next to each other and there's a significant value in doing both of them. Then for mobilization costs, you combine as many in a similar area as you can.
The only people going through there is,
Well, for me, I did that twice. I did Haley and then had a brain situation and went back to Haley again. And both times on that stretch from Mary to,
crowded.
Crockett, there was traffic in there. And again, that's why I was asking about that Erie Street. How many people are going through that neighborhood? For whatever reason, there was more than I anticipated, but,
And probably because McConaughey Oaks,
well, the
they don't go
elementary
through
school
there, they don't
and
wanna get on
I
the
don't,
highway and then, the elementary wouldn't go all the way around on Haley
I wouldn't think, unless they were going to
unless
McCall.
they live back there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the traffic count, we're at that impact?
We're on the traffic impact, and on Haley alone, you just have single family out there, and I think it's close to around 7. That front end, maybe 5 to 7.
Look like closer to 10.
Okay. So you're looking at around 100 trips or less.
Traffic with minor,
I'm at 1.5. It's more than you think, but
so 1.5 is more.
that's in the area. So you guys convinced me 1 or 2 or whatever you want to do, but
I say minor because it got Conley Oaks. I can see some elderly driving through there to get around.
We got a 2 and a 1.5. 2.
Let's do 2.
All right, you got a 2. Then the number of blocks, you have 2 out there, so that's just going to be a 2. Then your environment is only single family out there. So what do you think? Minimal?
Minimal.
And then your importance, on your opinion?
What did we do for Erie? Was it
Erie,
I think we did 8 to 10.
let me see.
do the same?
On Erie, you did 8 to 10.
Yeah.
8 to 10. All right, your cost ratio for the block. It's a longer block of 200 blocks, but that's your total if you were going to do them both together.
Aye.
Go with the 2.
2.
Personal priority.
2.
2.
All
Are we developing a plan here like the first 4 are always gonna be 5 and then these
Well-
these are gonna be 2s?
Well,
Are we
actually-
developing- I'm starting to see a,
Well, if that connects with Erie, you kind of want this.
Yeah, you're not following a pattern on your last 3, as much as you think you
all
are.
right.
Okay, Half Avenue, another road that you're going to learn about today that you probably never heard of. Half Avenue is right there, next to the railroad. You have Plum Street, which this was the bar in Plum. If you ever been over here, Sumyo Park is right in this area. No, I'm sorry, Sumyo Park's here. You can't see it. Yeah.
Come across the tracks.
That's right. So this is the old Guilds right here. Now it's Bobby Dolly Wall's place. You come south, and this is the railroad. This X right here, and then Half is right next to it. It's a very short road. There's one house on it.
I didn't know that was MLK. on the-
It's odd. I was talking to Justin because we did an inspection out here, and it's odd how that's MLK.
It says that it's East First Ave and then MLK, and so it's like
Yes,
Yeah.
this is so East First. This is. I don't know why this isn't working. East First is right here, and then for whatever reason this is East First. Then it turns into MLK because if you're looking, this is MLK right here. So I guess the logic was that it's running north south,
I didn't catch, wow.
and then yeah, so then it's Half.
Okay, yeah.
This thing's running out of battery, Shanna. So, anyways, that's how it happened out there. I was just talking to him about it today.
Half of MLK.
So this is just a dirt road, which is why we have this failure. It doesn't. It only services one house, so you have about 10 traffic trips out here right now. I just put a comment on there that's more of a path than a road because what I have it as is it looks like the width of the road is 13 feet out there. I don't even know if it's that. That's just what I had it measured on the map.
Who's the one house?
I do
Oh,
not
okay,
know.
we don't know, it's no.
Do not know.
Is that the only way to get to that house though?
Yes.
You can actually loop around. Back in the day, you could go around all around. But people were going back there dumping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you just wanted to mill it, because it is just dirt out there, then you do 21, a little over, and then if you added a base repair, then you'd be a little over 32 to do it. And then that's your picture if you're curious. I forgot to take a picture myself, so I apologize. So I used Google Maps. So this was, and I'll tell you, this is actually extremely high quality to what it is now, because this picture is from 2013. Because this street's so rural that Google Maps doesn't go down there and take a picture of it. So I should have took a picture for you guys, but I forgot. So I added this in there. It's pretty similar. It's just the dirt's just a little bit more beat up now because people actually drive a little bit.
Backside of it, possible to be developed.
There's some lots back there, but I think there's right of way issue because
Okay.
if I don't, when I was looking at the map of a plat,
Loop around somewhere like east.
well, if you go more towards the east, you're on to Riley Street. But I don't think that this right of way connects you there is the problem with this. And there's some lots back here that I don't think have access to right of way, which is a kind of a common thing in this town. Not in this town, but
and
that
then
area.
went up almost where them 2 other houses are over there. Where Plum goes right there.
Uh-huh.
I want to say it came back around there because you could drive all the way around there like a loop.
Well, I
Come
think
on second.
Yeah,
I
from
think
there,
what happened is they had these railroad notations, and I don't know if for Google Maps if that's a man-made trail, because sometimes that'll happen. And when that happens, you start to get into the prescriptive easement area, where this essentially the way a prescriptive easement works is it's open and apparent, and somebody's done it for so long that it's essentially becomes an easement. It was never documented as an easement because in this case, everybody maybe drives this loop to connect them to half or maybe to connect them back to second. Then it becomes a dirt path. Nobody's ever contested it, so now it's actually right of way or an easement.
Or if the railroad had
Okay, I
been
see
in that
that.
area.
Okay.
That's right. Or if the
But it
railroad
was
is using it.
platted
That's what-
at
that's
one
what I would
time,
think.
right?
This whole area was platted at one time when there was not
The
platting
railroad was
standards,
using
so
that
there's
for some time.
significant issues out here.
Yeah, yeah.
This is part of the whole Washington Heights. If you've been
Correct.
following along with that, it's all very old out there and a lot of problems. So there may be a real possibility that there is no right of way out there, and there's lots that were created with no right of way attached, because it has happened out there.
So you wouldn't abandon Half Street because you got
No.
possible development back there?
That's right. You have a house that services on it right now, so you wouldn't abandon it, because then you'd be landlocking that house. Really what you would do is you'd probably try to tie half into Riley, if you could, if that would work. Riley you can't see, but it's over here towards the east, way over to the east.
So what is that street right below, the straight street right below MLK?
Second,
This is Second,
That's Second.
and
So-
there's a house that
And
fronts
so-
it.
and it goes to the church over there.
Somebody may have asked us, does that go all the way around then?
No.
No,
No,
Well,
right.
so yes, that's what I was talking about. It used
It
to.
goes up into that corner, into the
Yeah,
top
yeah,
corner,
it's- that dark trail?
you're talking about
trail
this.
right there was open back in the day.
but it's not anymore. It's
So
overgrown.
it's probably overgrown now.
Yeah, and it's one of those. I don't think it's actually on a plat as an easement or any type of right of way. I think it was just the residents in that area at the time used it as a path, and it would become a prescriptive easement at this point, because nobody's ever contested
Where
it.
the houses for sale at? Where?
The land.
Yeah, I think
The
it was
land for
lots-
sale is over
lots?
here,
Excuse me.
Right there.
right here.
Oh, wow.
Well, really, this is the one house that's occupied, and then you have a vacant house, and then you had a house that used to be here, and I think there's another lot. Anyways, not sure they all have access to Half Avenue, but a survey on the cell would tell them that.
Walk to it. No.
Park your car. Park your car and walk.
Okay, so getting back onto grading this road that you've now learned about.
Yeah, we did, actually, yeah.
It's a dirt road, and like I said, I apologize. That picture's from 2013, so just think of 10 years of aging from this point, or
But that
12
does
years
scare
of
me
aging.
because that's more in the mix of what we were trying to resolve 2 years ago.
Well,
The
and you
survey
know,
problems that, you know.
right, and that's a hard fix, but on this area it'd be a little bit easier for context because you're only dealing with 3 lots. So when the way cities would do it, okay, so say you have right of way out there that doesn't meet your city requirements. So we call for 50-foot of right of way on local roads. So I'll use the example of Half Avenue is a good example. So let's look at it on the map so I can explain this a little bit better. Half Avenue only has houses that front here. There's never going to be houses that front there because that's railroad right of way. So what you would do as a city is if you wanted to ever improve this road, when these properties come in to develop and they have to plat, you would make them dedicate you right of way to make the road up to city standard, which you can do. So if it was a 30-foot road, they would dedicate you 20 foot of right of way to make it 50. So that way you could improve the road for them and service them. That's how that would work.
So if you build one house, you would have to do that?
It would go by each house. So if the first house, let's just say they start over, and this first house just develops to this day, and this road's only 30 foot, and they're platting it for the first time, because this happens at the platting. This doesn't happen at building permit. So if it's already platted, you can't do anything about it. But if it's not platted and they come in, then you would say, okay, we need 20 foot of right of way, so that way we can service you according to our own city code. Then they would give it to you, and then as this property develops and so forth, they'll just keep going down the line. They'll get you the right of way you need to develop. Same thing if it happened on MOK. If you had development on both sides and this was only 30, each person would give you 10 as they develop their property, so that way you can eventually make that road the road it needs to be.
What is the regulation though that if you want to put a structure or do something, you have to improve the road?
So the city, if that's in
that
our,
came up in the council and in here before.
it has, and it would be their fair share of it.
Oh, I
If
thought
that-
they were responsible for the whole thing.
No. So, okay, so I'll use the example. Let's go with half again. So this is all dirt out here.
Right?
So if this property were to do a building permit and you said you have to meet our city code with a paved road, then they would be only responsible up to their property, not past it.
Not past it.
That's right.
Okay. But they're responsible for the whole thing.
They had to be responsible for their property,
Okay.
the road to their property. So you couldn't say this whole road's unpaved, so now you got to pay from here all the way to your property.
Okay.
The city would pick up this part of it, and they would say, now you got to pick up your fair share of it.
So you remember the one I'm talking about though, I think.
You're talking to, well, I
It
know.
wasn't that long ago.
Well, there's been a couple I've been a part of. There was one on Lee Street, and then there's one on Erie Street.
I think it was one on Lee.
Okay.
It was that way,
That's Lee.
like
Yeah.
behind Jones' place, kind of behind Rainbow.
Rainbow.
They had a water meter and stuff there. They wanted to put a mobile home, but they were going to be responsible for the road improvements.
Well, it was a platted street. I'm
I-
sorry.
yeah,
We'll come back. Yeah, it's good. We'll talk after.
Well, and just to finish the conversation, cities can, it's through even national legislator, the Supreme Court has ruled that cities can only charge rough proportionality to what it takes. So there was a case, just to give an example, I don't remember exactly what the case was, but I think the case was there was a single family house or something that wanted to develop, and there was a major thoroughfare, and they basically said, you got to pay, and you got to put in a couple lanes for us if we're going to issue you this building permit, because we need this road needs to be wider. And since their development didn't call for that, you can't charge them for that. It's a proportionality, so they'd only be charged for what they really cause out there. So when a development comes in, we can't say, man, you're causing a lot of traffic. We really think you need to put in a 4-lane road, because if the traffic study comes back and says they only need to do a 2-lane road, then they're only responsible for a 2-lane and not responsible for a 4-lane. That would be that same aspect.
So, no, let's move on.
Moving right along.
I didn't think Half Street would have this much discussion, so this is interesting.
Well, yeah, we don't want to cause any more trouble once over in the Heights area. They'll be saying
It'll all be handled through plating. I mean, you can only address what's willing to be addressed, because the way the state law is set up, everybody has to agree, and that's what makes it so difficult, is because it's near impossible to have everybody agree because of the amount of discrepancy that's out there. We're not talking about 2 feet off. I mean, we're talking 30 feet off, 40 feet off, completely on the wrong lots. I mean,
Roads on property.
roads on properties, properties and roads. I mean, you just have it all to the point. And then you also add on top of that there may be not enough land for how many lots were actually crafted, because there was no property corner just said. So it just gets to the point where
Agreements are made.
it's hard. Long story short, it's hard. This area, if people are willing to fix it and they can all agree, it's pretty easy. It's just getting the agreement because of how off it is. Anyways, we'll leave the pricing up because we're on to the questions. So the same format with the first four, I'm assuming. So now we're on to the traffic impact. You have one house out there right now, so we'd go with minimal. You only have one block, and then your environment. Do you want to go with minimal? And then your importance of the repair? And your cost ratio to that? And your priority. All right. We got time for one more? We got time for one more. We got Hillier. Hillier is located in between Wilcox and Copeland. This is another one that I think Commissioner Higdon said was his worst one when I was talking to him, and I'd have to agree this is going to be up there. This one's 3 blocks long, but it's really odd because 2 of the blocks aren't addressed. So I couldn't give you block numbers. So I just did one that's to the east and one that's to the west of the 500 block. So my apologies, but that's the best I could do. So you have the west of the 500 block, you have scarring out there, edge feathering, and then you have substandard width. If you were to fix that, not gaining any more right-of-way to fix that substandard width, just keep that in mind. Your overlay would be a little under 7. Your base repair would be a little under 10. And then that's a picture of the west of the 500 block. It's these pictures do it justice, unlike the ones that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, this is at the top of my list.
Then the second one is the 500 block, which has the same comments as the other one, so I won't go over them. If your cost for the overlay is $6,000, and then your cost for the repair with the overlay is a little under 10. That's the 500 block. And then same comments on the east. of the 500 block. You're pricing a little under 7 for the overlay, a little over 10 with the base repair included, and then that's the picture of that. But that, yeah, I mean, it's Commissioner Higdon is right on the money. This one's is another roller coaster when we do code enforcement. So, with that being said, your total pricing for the road, if you just did an overlay on it, which would not be our recommendation on this one, is a little over 19. If you were going to add a base repair in there, it's a little under 30 for all three of those 100 blocks. So, yes.
I thought Coulter was over by the elementary, and there's a Coulter right there too.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Well, okay, so if you can recall on the elementary one,
I'm guessing that.
this is Ellis,
Avenue?
remember
Yeah.
Ellis?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm guessing at one point they were planning on running it all the way through.
Right. I think the intention probably would be there's an alley right here, and then like some people think it's a road. I think it's an alley, but neither here nor there. I think the intention was this would run all the way through, and then it's Coulter because it's such similar proximity to one another. But this is the actual Coulter. So as you can see, Hillier does act. It acts as a local, almost a really small collector in a way, because it takes you from a collector to any of these three rows that have houses on it. Because there's not many houses that front Hillier. That's why I call it almost like it acts almost like a small collector does, but it's just not long enough to really be considered a collector. So it serves a kind of a unique purpose. With that being said, are we keeping the same formula for this one for the first four?
Yes.
And then you have your traffic impact. What do you think on that?
I don't know, cause you got the baseball field and Cordova and all that, and you know when it's packed over there, I'm pretty sure if it's paved, they'll take it.
Well, another one of those streets that it's almost like a collector. There was a lot of traffic when I was sitting there.
The design of it's interesting. I mean, it almost acts as a very, very small collector.
Yeah.
Traffic what? Minimum or, minor or moderate?
I do minor.
Minor?
All right. Number of blocks, there's 3 of them, so it would be the 2. It would still be a 2. Your environment, it's just really.
How wide is that street though? It's.
Oh, not what I had. Let me see.
And
When I measured
definitely
it on the
depends
map-
where you measured at.
It looked like it was 15. The pavement width of it, not the right of way.
Right.
The pavement width, it looked
Right.
like it was about 15. Which is about right, because you can usually a traffic lane, or what we call for traffic lanes, I believe is 8 to 10, and you can barely fit 2 cars on this. So it's probably close to that 15 for 7 and 7. Anyways, so the environment, it's just single family out there. I mean, you do have baseball to the north, but what do we think on the environment?
Minimal?
Minimal.
Minimal.
The importance of the repair.
One up from.
The other side of the baseball field too.
Yeah.
2?
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Or 3? 2.5?
2.
2?
2s. All right, your cost.
3?
I think 3.
Okay, and then your personal priority.
2 on me, but
2?
2.
Okay, we're gonna end it there because Houston's a really long one. We can't get through that. So, unless y'all got any questions about it.
Kind of like what Mr. Williams was saying about the bigger trucks messing up that pavement road over there behind the store. So out there at Cornerstone on my street, actually, and they were pouring a slab for the house, or a couple houses, a pump truck, concrete pump truck, pulled in front of the house. And of course, the weight of those trucks, especially with concrete in them, it ended up putting a big hole in it. Does that have to wait until to repair that? Does that have to wait until something like we're doing now for it to get repaired? Because eventually it's gonna start to create a big pothole. But, I mean,
Well-
there wasn't even a house built in front of it before that happened.
Right. That's usually,
Is that on the city already, or is that still out?
well, that's been turned over to the city. If this house is built on it, then that means that we've already accepted that infrastructure, and so it would have been turned over to the city. It varies because sometimes there's ordinances against that specifically. So if somebody were to violate that and take a 18-wheeler down a road that we specifically say it's not designed for that, so don't do it, and they do it anyways, then they're responsible for the cost. Other times, yeah, it'd be on the repair schedule for the city to have to fix that, or the developer if they have, if they're willing.
There's a tanker parked over there, like between Second and Third, that little, there's a street we were supposed to look at. Does that tanker stay there often, or does it leave often, or?
I'm not sure. I think he lived back in that dead end.
Are you talking about on Upton?
Yes, Upton, yes.
Is there often, and it's not allowed to be there. It's not supposed to be there, and that water line is shallow to the point where it keeps causing leaks because it's parked on it, and the weight of the truck is breaking the line.
It red flagged in my opinion when I saw that,
Yeah,
because those streets are not designed like you're
Right,
talking
right.
about. You can design a street for residential use. but-
yeah. Most locals are not designed to withstand anything past a fire truck. So they'll accommodate your trash trucks and your fire trucks, but they're not going to accommodate
tanker's
loads
full. It's-
with 18-wheelers.
Probably weighs at least 80,000, 85,000
Wow,
pounds.
what a, yeah, it's a big,
So.
in fact,
That-
it almost
yeah.
takes up the whole street.
And that's why you make those ordinances to prevent what happened in your subdivision and to prevent water lines from cracking. I mean, water lines shouldn't be that shallow anyways, but you still want to prevent it from happening because the road's just not designed for that amount of weight.
Okay, it's quitting time.
It is. Thank you
I'm
guys.
gonna have to go ahead and adjourn this meeting. It's 3:03 by the clock, I guess. We are adjourned.